You might be wondering what to look for on nutrition labels when you're losing weight. You came to the right video. I'm gonna break it down for you next. In this video, we're gonna cover the history of the food label. Next, we'll talk about what to look for on the food label when you're losing weight. And last, I'll reveal how food labels fit into the Code Red lifestyle. You know, when I saw this video title come up that we were gonna do a video on it, I was doing some research and I was kind of looking into the history, trying to get some dates straightened out for you and trying to make sure I got all my facts straight before I came to do this. And when I was looking at different articles, different websites and doing my research, it was so confusing. And the government, just leave it to the government to just make things way harder than it is. But you've got so many fingers in the pot. You've got so many cooks in the kitchen trying to figure out the food label, and everybody has a different opinion, and it just has gotten so confusing. So I'm going to simplify it for you in this video. So why did the food label even come about? Well, in the 1850s, there were foodborne illness breakouts. And then in 1990, the USDA mandated that all food companies had a standardized label with nutrition facts. See, packaged foods were a new phenomenon in the turn of the 20th century. See, that's not how they used to do things. People used to buy food in bulk, not packaged, not in a box, and not in a can. Because foods were put into boxes and cans and packaged, this became incredibly convenient for a lot of people. These emerging packaged foods forced Congress to start thinking about a congruent food labeling system. And what I noticed when I was doing research on this is that back in the day when food labels were kind of like a free-for-all, every man for himself kind of a thing, companies just were arbitrarily putting crap on a food label or leaving crap off of a food label. It was whatever they wanted to say. They were making outrageous claims. They were over exaggerating the weight of a product. They were under reporting the sugar. They were over reporting the protein. I mean, it was a mess, and everybody just did whatever they wanted to do. So I am glad that the Congress stepped in to get some regulation going here, because it did force everybody to come into line, and it forced transparency here. So what are you gonna find on a food label? You're gonna find serving size, calories, fats, sodium, carbohydrates, protein, and vitamins and other nutrients. Before I go to the next point, I want to hear from you. Have you been so incredibly confused when it comes to food labels? I completely understand this. I used to be confused too, and even now I can't pronounce half the names on the food labels. Ridiculous. Comment below and tell me, what was your experience with food labels? And if you like this video, subscribe to my channel and hit that little bell icon. That way you're notified when I release a new video. My problem with food labels is the fact that they have ingredients on them, and they have come up with so many names for sugar and for other additives and for preservatives and for highly inflammatory oils. I can't pronounce. We as an English-speaking nation, we just can't pronounce these words, most of the words on a food label. It's ridiculous, and let alone know what any of them are. I don't know the exact number here, but I think it's 81 different names for sugar. And so you'll see all these names, and they don't all end in OSE. That's a good given right there. No, they have really hidden sugar a lot in the food label with these really complicated words that none of us know what they even mean or can't even pronounce them. So that leads me into my next point. What should you look for on a food label? Because let me tell you, it is incredibly confusing. You don't know what to look for. If you still remember back in the day, back in the 50s, back in the 60s, we demonized fat. Remember, our president at the time had a heart attack, and so we said, oh my gosh, he's got congestive heart failure, coronary artery disease, he's got massive heart problems, and the problem is fat. There's fat in his arteries, and that's caused from the fat on a ribeye steak. And no, the guy was a chain-smoking sugar addict, and he was obese. The fat didn't cause a heart attack. But of course, we started implementing the low-fat guidelines. So if you come from that era, your eye is gonna automatically go for the fat, right? You're like, oh, it's low in fat. It's like low-fat Snackwell cookies. Then they must be okay. That's not what I look for on a food label. What do I look for on a food label? If I'm gonna eat something with a label, which is rare, I'm gonna look for the carbs and the sugar. Yeah, I'm gonna look for the item that's gonna spike my blood sugar. I'm gonna look for what it is that's gonna cause me to trigger a whole lot of insulin. And I'm gonna find out how much insulin, I mean, I know this because I'm in this industry, I'm in this business. By looking at the sugar and the carbs, it's gonna tell me how much insulin is going to require my body to bring it back down and how long it will take to bring my blood sugar back down. Because the longer it takes to bring my blood sugar down, the less time my body's gonna be burning fat. And I want my body to burn fat as much as it can through as much of the day as it can. So if I see that I'm getting ready to eat something with a label on it, and I see that it's gonna take my body a long time to get rid of that blood sugar, I'm not gonna eat it. Like, that's gonna be a red flag for me. I also look at calories because as much as people don't wanna admit this, yeah, calories matter. They do. And I wanna stay within a calorie budget that I have for myself. If you feel comfortable looking at the carbs and the sugar and the calories and you wanna take this a step further, you can always look at the protein. Make sure that it has enough protein to make you feel satiated, that has a little something to stick to your ribs. It's important that something is not all carbs, all sugar, and all just empty calories. Make sure that item has got a little bit of protein. But truth be told, I would rather you not eat anything with a food label. I would rather you shop on the perimeter of the grocery store. I mean, I don't know about your grocery store. Our grocery store and where we go, you turn right when you go through the door and you go right through fruits and vegetables. And then you head to dairy and meats, and then you keep going around, and that's pretty much all you need. There's no need for you to go down the cereal aisle. There's no need for you to go down the SpaghettiOs aisle. There's no need for you to go down the candy and chips aisle. There's no need for you to go down the cracker aisle. Stay away from those. Those items have done your health no good. Really, you don't need to eat anything with a label. And I realize that staying away from anything with a label for the rest of our lives is not realistic. I get that. But if you can do it 90% of the time, even 80% of the time, you're going to be better than the standard American, because the standard American diet has us consuming 60% of refined processed carbs. That's the kind of crap that comes to you in a can or a box with the food label, like Hamburger Helper. Look, when I was broke, I had a lot of Hamburger Helper. And I was happy to have it, believe me. But now that I know better, and now that I realize that those foods did my health no good, I stay away from those items. I shop the perimeter of the grocery store. I don't eat crap out of a can or a box. And if I do it very rarely. And I always turn it around and I look for the carbs and sugar. I make sure it's not too high in calories or that it fits into my budget. And I make sure that the protein is adequate. During the custom program, when you're working your way through the custom program, you're gonna notice that I do a teaching just for custom program clients on food labels, because I want you to be aware of how to read a food label, what's really going on in a food label. We're gonna break it down. I'm gonna talk to you. I do a special teaching on food labels, and this is gonna come with your custom program. It's awesome. I've linked it up below. It's $9.97. If you're interested in working with me and my certified coaches and my staff for 3 months, I will fully customize a nutrition program for you. And when you reach goal, you will be transferred into a maintenance group, because we don't have a weight loss problem in this country. We have a weight regain problem, and I'm here to prevent the weight regain on you. So a custom program is definitely the way to go, and we definitely talk about food labels in it. I linked that up below, and I'll see you on the next video.